Okay, welcome back to our lesson on international trade. The question we're going to look at is, could Bangladesh and the U.S. trade? In this kind of contrived example we've come up with. I kind of gave away the answer at the end of the last video that yes, they can, but let's look at how. So the U.S. imports soccer balls from Bangladesh, or at least at one point the U.S. did in real life. So how could this happen when the U.S. does have an absolute advantage over Bangladesh? So the U.S. imports soccer balls from Bangladesh. How can this happen when the U.S. does have an absolute advantage over Bangladesh in the production of computers or soccer balls? The reason it can happen is because trade can benefit both parties based on each country's comparative advantage, not the absolute advantage. So of the concepts we learn in this section, the idea of comparative advantage is the biggest. A comparative advantage occurs, or one country is said to have a comparative advantage over another, in the production of a product relative to another product, if it produces that product less inefficiently or more efficiently as compared to the other country. So that's a mouthful. What comparative advantage is first of all, with comparative advantage, we're dealing on a product-by-product basis. So even if somebody is more efficient at doing everything than you are, if you're a country, or maybe there's 3 different tasks that a group of people are trying to decide to do, and one person just isn't very good at any of them. You could still have some specialization if the person who isn't very good at any of them is is less inefficient at one of the tasks. Right? If you've got 3 tasks to clean up, one of them's doing the dishes, one of them's sweeping the floor, and one is, I don't know, cleaning up a bathroom, whatever. 3 different things. If one person's terrible at sweeping and dishes, and not good at cleaning up the bathroom, but not that bad at cleaning up the bathroom, worse than everybody else, but close, right? Logically, of course, you'd say, well, that person who's bad at everything, but not too terrible at cleaning bathrooms, should go clean the bathroom. Right? This is specialization. You'll get the tasks done quicker. If a country isn't as good at producing any product, but there's some products that they're not too inefficient at producing, trade can benefit both sides. So going back to this example, right? The numbers I made up, the U.S. can produce 10,000 computers or 20,000 soccer balls. Bangladesh could produce 200 computers or 10,000 soccer balls. To find the comparative advantages for each country, or for which product each country has a comparative advantage in, what we want to do is look at the opportunity cost of producing both items. So in the United States, what's the opportunity cost of producing a computer? Well, you could produce 10,000 computers or 20,000 soccer balls in our given period of time. Well, some simple division here, right? To get 10,000 computers, you're giving up 20,000 soccer balls. If you wanted to think of this as an equation, you take the 20,000 divided by the 10,000, and one computer costs the U.S. 2 soccer balls. Right? That seems simple enough based on the numbers. And if instead the U.S. wanted to produce a soccer ball, right? 20,000 soccer balls cost 10,000 computers, so this would be 10,000 divided by 20,000. One soccer ball would cost the U.S. half of a computer. These numbers will always be reciprocals of each other, right? One computer costs 2 soccer balls, so one soccer ball costs the U.S. half a computer. Let's go back to Bangladesh, right? 200 computers or 10,000 soccer balls could be produced in a day. So if Bangladesh wants to produce a computer, well, 10,000 soccer balls divided by 200 computers, each computer they produce, Bangladesh produces, costs 50 soccer balls. Okay? As far as what does a soccer ball cost? Well, 1/50th of a computer, the reciprocal of this number. Or you'd take the 200 computers that they could produce divided by the 10,000 soccer balls. One soccer ball costs 200 divided by 10,000, or 1/50th of a computer. So here's the opportunity cost for each country to produce these products in the absence of trade. And we'll notice there's some wildly different opportunity costs for each country. It's cheaper for the US to make computers, right? A computer only costs 2 soccer balls, whereas it costs 50 soccer balls for Bangladesh to make one. But it's cheaper for Bangladesh to make soccer balls. A soccer ball for Bangladesh only costs 1/50th of a computer, whereas for the US, it costs half a computer. Well, because these are our comparative advantages for each country, this tells us how trade could make each side better off. So trade could occur between the US and Bangladesh. In our simple little example here, the US would trade computers to Bangladesh because the US makes computers cheaper. Bangladesh would trade soccer balls back to the US because Bangladesh makes soccer balls cheaper. And both sides will be better off. Both sides will be able to consume more than they were able to consume before based on this trade. What I'd like you to do is use this example with the numbers to find a trade between these countries. And what I'm saying by find a trade, I want you to come up with an actual number that we would look at here. So the US is going to trade some number of computers to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is going to trade some number of soccer balls back to the US. Using those numbers, you should be able to find a trade. Really, there are literally an infinite number of trades that you could come up with. I'm asking you to find one. Find a trade that could make both sides better off. The restriction, of course, both sides have to want to do the trade, right? Both sides have to want to make the trade. So the trade must be beneficial to both countries, otherwise the trade wouldn't happen. So that is your task. Good luck.